our show.
Spider-Man.
We are going to shoot webs.
Fifth whip.
Our own webs of joy or displeasure.
Mostly joy. Kind of entirely joy.
The movie's pretty amazing. Today on Fat Man on Batman, we blow Spider-Man Homecoming, which is weird to say because it's a high school flick, so maybe we shouldn't say that. Yeah. We give a hand job to Spider-Man Homecoming.
We go to third base on Spider-Man Homecoming.
Hard today on Fat Man on Batman. Thwip.
Who's that in Poison Ivy's garden? It's Kevin Smith and Marc Bernardin. Two Fat Men on Batman.
Welcome to Fat Man on Spider-Man.
What? Look at him.
That's right, at least for today. I'm Kevin Smith.
I am Marc Bernardin.
We live in Hollywood, me and Mark.
We do.
So naturally, we have seen Spider-Man. I saw it last night when it opened, paid like a normie.
As did I, last night.
So just like you guys, we put down our hard-earned schmeckles, to borrow from Rick and Morty, and stepped up and said, shoot me. Web me. Shoot me full of webs. Let me see. Empty all those cartridges of web fluid into my face, neck, and chest.
Arcing ropes of pleasure.
Oh, and wasn't it? So we didn't go together. Where'd you go?
I went out by where I live out in Winnetka, California.
I did a show in, way to give out your address, man.
Well, I didn't give it all out. It's just Winnetka. Nobody can find it. It sounds like an Indian burial ground.
Somebody at home was just like, all I needed was the name. You are mine, Marc Bernardin.
Zoom and enhance.
I live in Hollywood. It's big. Try and find me. We're in the hills. You're welcome to come on over.
You're not helping.
Yeah, good point. So I went to see it at Irvine. I was in Irvine doing a Jay and Silent Bob Get Old show at the Irvine Improv plug for a show that's over. And afterwards I said, Muse, we're going into that Edwards multiplex. We're going to go see some Spider-Man : Homecoming.
Did he put up a fight?
I thought he might, though, because he loves that kid of his. And he's like, I hate being away from her. But he's like, she's asleep. Let's go see Spider-Man. And thank God he did go, because he's the kind of dude that's like, I want to sit there during the trailers. He's wheeling and dealing with the concession stand. Because they're like, we're kind of closed now. And he's like, please, just make me pretzels for me and my friends. You could text me when they're done, because I'm going to be watching the movie. He hooked this shit up. In a span of 4 minutes and shit. I was like, we're getting pretzel sticks?
Who the fuck barters for concessions?
Jason Mewes. That's a whole different business to the show business we're in, man.
I did not realize that was on the table.
He's smart enough to know the real money's in the snacks. So he got us some snacks, hooked us up, Jay West, Brother Rich. And we went, and the theater's packed. And some of the people who had been in the Jay and Bob show, we told them, we're going to see the movie. So they were there as well. And he had a bunch of people there appreciative as fuck for a movie that, let's be honest, we've seen a few times.
We've seen a couple Spider-Men in our lifetimes.
5 prior to this.
We're old men, so we've seen all of the Spider-Men.
Kids, I remember when a young Tobey Maguire, wasn't even that young, I think he was like 45, played Spider-Man.
I remember when an old Nicholas Hammond also played Spider-Man.
Oh my God, that's absolutely right. That's how far we go back, man. When the little boy from Sound of Music was Spider-Man. The dude who's like, I'm still alive. Why do I get left off the list? It always starts with fucking Toby. What about Nick the Dick? Like, that's why we don't put you on the list. Drop the dick. Maybe we will. He's like, I'll never drop the dick.
I'll drop the dick in your face.
Hammond style. Play my Hammond organ. That's a really good musical.
Wow, nice job.
Thank you.
Well
anyway,
played.
I can't say, you know what, for the record, Nick Hammond, not that guy at all.
No, lovely person. I think he's a pastor.
I think so, too. I think he's a man of the cloth. So, go with God. But he was the original live-action Spider-Man. But there's always another guy that gets left off because we didn't know who was under the mask. Remember the Electric Company?
Oh, yeah. It always hang out with Easy Reader.
Spider-Man. Where are you? What is it? Where are you
coming
from, Spider-Man? Nobody knows who you are. And then they would have an adventure.
Yeah, like Morgan Freeman would kind of slide in as Easy Reader and be like, hey, Spider-Man, what's up?
And he would go, whoop, and they would put a thought balloon over his head with the dots, which was, as a kid, it frustrated me because I was like, that's incorrect. Because he's communicating to whoever's in the scene.
Not thought bubbles.
Yeah, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Where was Mark in my childhood?
Come on.
Because I would turn to my parents and say this, and they would look at each other sadly like, he's doomed.
Never going to amount to much.
Why does he care about something that doesn't matter? Grace, the boy is useless, as my father would say.
And then me, an entire state over, was like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
We had Aquaman type communication. That's what we had before the internet was Aquaman like. So you could talk to fish, Mark Bernardin,
Other fish, fish sticks. Don't eat me.
Look, you'll never understand it, but it was better then somehow. In any event, fuck
We were
all
closer but further away.
that. There was a fucking Spider-Man, and they never revealed him.
And he never spoke. Never saw his
And
face.
he never spoke. It was very. That was so stylized, so awesome. But he taught a lot of us to read and stuff.
Yeah, so thanks, Spidey.
Yeah. So anyway, there've been many live-action Spideys, or not many. A small. Well.
Yeah.
No, many if you include all the fucking theme parks and the dudes down on
Totally.
fucking Sunset
And there's
or
like
Hollywood
a
Boulevard.
whole like overseas contingent of like Japanese Spider-Man and Korean Spider-Man and Middle Eastern Spider-Man.
Many people have pulled on the colors, as they say. The red, blue, and black. Is that it?
Yeah, I guess.
Red, black, and blue?
Red, black, and blue.
Sounds sexy.
Doesn't it though?
Many people pulled on the mask created by the great Steve Ditko and of course the amazing Stan Lee. I'm gonna here's my hot take.
Do it.
They're coming for me. You can hear a panel truck. I think this kid, Tom Holland, my favorite Spider-Man in any iteration, including the cartoons.
Wow.
Yes. I think this boy's got it. This is my idea of Spider-Man. What Spider-Man Homecoming had going for it that no other comic book movie seems to have going for it that I can recollect, even Kick-Ass, which was set in high school, was the simple joy of a Spider-Man story where, look, there are many different types of Spider-Man tales they've told over the years. That's fucking Adrian Toombs backing up trying to get some fucking derelict equipment that came from the battle
some
with
Chitauri shit. Man.
Yes, some Chitauri
Sweet Chitauri
tech.
shit.
I love that. This is the one that I can so get behind because I'm like, this feels like Spider-Man. There was a joy to this movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I always responded to. Even, say what you will about Tobey Maguire, those first couple of movies, for the first time that I can remember, conveyed what must be the absolute joy of having superpowers. Of like,
When he was like, woohoo.
yeah, when it's like, fuck, I can do this? This is awesome.
Except if only you had an actor who could express that type of exuberant joy. Because if I remember that scene correctly, it was woohoo, which is like,
Here
hey
I
man,
go.
that's a 12 on the Toby scale. Toby felt that was too big.
I can't go hotter than this.
I don't know, we bashed it
Sorry,
on Toby
Sam.
Maguire. He's like, fuck you guys.
I'm awesome. I'm Seabiscuit.
I wore the webs too. I'm Seabiscuit. It's like, well, I wasn't, but I did ride Seabiscuit right to the top of the box office. Fuck you, two pricks.
I got Oscar nominations.
That's
What
when
do you
he turns
got?
his web shooters on us. Fuck them all. This Tom Holland kid, that's his name?
Tom Holland.
Fantastic. Loved him in Civil War. You got to love your Spider-Man. You got to love your Peter Parker. This is what I'll say about those previous iterations. Everyone's always like, Sam Raimi's amazing. He can't say amazing Spider-Man. Sam Raimi's are amazing,
Yes.
comma, his Spider-Man movies. Not to be confused with Amazing Spider-Mans of Mark Webb.
Yes. Let's not confuse anything with those.
Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock. Wonderful superhero movie.
Yes. One of my favorites.
This, for my money, and it's not I'm not lowering one to raise another, but this is what I wanted out of a Spider-Man movie. Particularly, I want him in high school. Mm-hmm. I want him getting used to the powers and abilities. I want to see him fighting one of his classic villains, but I do not want to see him fucking take on the Green Goblin one more time.
No, we're good with that.
Moratorium on all Green Goblin nonsense. They showed us the fucking Vulture. They showed us one of the best scenes you'll see in a movie this year when Peter goes to pick up his fucking homecoming date.
Yeah.
You don't have to spoil it. That's it. That's the scene.
Yeah. We'll spoil it later because we'll get to the spoiler part of the review.
Totally.
We got to talk about it. But even still.
It's one of the most riveting pieces of cinema you'll see.
Yeah.
All fucking year.
And it's 3 people in a car.
Yeah, and it don't involve fucking silly ass costumes. It's crazy. And don't get me wrong, I like those silly ass costumes. Their rendition of the Vulture, as we've seen it now for months in the trailers, but perfectly terrifying, perfectly plausible,
Yes, perfectly cast.
and took the words right out of my mouth. Absolutely perfectly cast. Spider-Man in the first Spider-Man movie, I thought Tobey Maguire was a really good Peter Parker, and I thought their rendition of Spider-Man was okay. his quippiness didn't match the performance.
No, Toby's not a quippy guy.
Not at all. So Peter Parker, you felt for him, but him as Spider-Man, it's like, well, my Spider-Man's not way funnier or zanier, but just like
Lighter.
Lighter. In the next set,
Andrew Garfield,
I thought his Spider-Man was pitch perfect. His Peter Parker was just far too sexy. Far too sexy.
His hair is too good.
Oh my God! Like there was nothing about him. He was too cool. He was Flash Thompson, really. But not because of any fault of his own. That kid's just cute.
He is what he is.
They
He's
didn't
also
put glasses on him.
An almost 30-year-old man as well.
Excellent point. But boy, he wanted to play that role. Remember, he showed up at Comic-Con and he took the mask off. Good guy, man. He kind of got tossed to the wayside, but he did a good.
He's
job.
like a good Spider-Man in a not great Spider-Man movie.
Agreed. And unfortunately, he's been saddled with the George Lazenby of the series. But, and that's the kids are what the
who's a Lazenby?
If you're googling George Lazenby, how dare you?
Is it a weapon?
I pulled out my George Lazenby and I shot them all. Pew pew pew. So this one,
yeah,
the Holland kid from Holland, little Dutch boy, amazing, excellent Peter Parker, excellent Spider-Man.
Like always bashful the way you want Spider-Man to be bashful. Like he's not an ugly man at all. He's definitely handsome because he's a movie star in a Hollywood major motion picture. But he's not so handsome that it distracts you from the awkwardness, from the social misfit nature of him, from the kid who cannot work up the moxie to talk to the girl that you know he likes, that he knows he likes, and who even knows who likes him, but can't get there until the movie actually gets him there.
Right.
Like so much of this movie, like we talked about, it's a teen movie. In addition to being a Spider-Man movie. And so it's hitting all of those beats of the learning to discover who you are and who you're meant to be, learning how to fit in or not fit in with whatever clique you feel like you want to fit in, how to find for yourself and define for yourself what success is. And this is what this movie is about, in addition to him being Spider-Man.
Sorry, I thought there was about to be a dogfight. Where, just if you had to, like, what's your mini review? Somebody's like, hey, what do you think of Spider-Man?
I will say that it is my favorite Spider-Man movie.
Yes.
Not quite by far, but absolutely.
Yes. I agree with that. Absolutely.
There is still no scene in this movie that does for me what the elevated subway train did in the second Spider-Man movie.
Wonderful sequence in that film.
Like an amazing sequence. And in that sequence encapsulated everything that you want from Spider-Man.
I mean, that sequence very nearly a perfect cinematic sequence were it not for the fact that when they take his mask off, the actors, have the audacity to deliver the written lines that say, he's just a kid. Even though Tobey Maguire is clearly 72 years old.
Hey, gotta get my mask. I gotta get back out of the fight a little bit.
If you unmask Tom Holland, somebody was like, he's just a kid. You'd be like, he is just a kid.
Just fucking look at that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that even seeing this movie underscored for me that Spider-Man is a hero defined by will. And you'll notice in each Spider-Man movie, the test of what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man is one of one guy trying to hold something back that's bigger than he is and putting himself on the line for that thing. It's Tobey Maguire trying to hold a subway train off from an elevated platform. It's Tom Holland trying to keep the Staten Island ferry from splitting in half. It's even Andrew Garfield at some point having to swing the length of Manhattan to do some other holdy thing in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Usually a messianic pose, too.
It's absolutely
the Creed pose. Yeah. Little drop of Scott Stapp for you. Right?
Nice. Stap it.
Stapping it.
Stapping it.
Stapping out.
Jukebox with Kev.
It's a little joke.
But and this movie has two of them. It's got the Staten Island ferry sequence, and at the very
sequence.
end, he's buried under an avalanche of whatever, and it's
he does. I'm taking a shit pose and lifts the building.
It's reservoirs of will. It's about discovering how much of you is left inside.
You know what I had when I was watching that sequence when he was buried under the rubble? I'm like, I was like, oh shit. I mean, it ain't gonna happen here, but you could totally get away with Fearful Symmetry. The Craven story, Craven's Last Hunt, one of the greatest Spider-Man stories ever fucking told. Craven's Last Hunt, where he gets hunted down by like a goofy ass fucking villain of his, Craven the Hunter, who's like, I will hunt the Spider-Man, and has done it in comics and cartoons for years. And in this wonderful fucking story, he takes out Spider-Man, who's in the black costume, like with a neck dart. I think he's in the
Secret
black
Wars.
costume. Yeah, I think it is, if I remember correctly. Yeah, because I see the image of him coming out of the grave. He's in the black costume. I don't think it's red. We may be getting a bunch of talkbacks right now going, it's the red costume, you fat asshole.
Assholes.
And if it's true, I'll take it. Then I am the fat asshole. In any event, Craven takes him out with a neck dart trank and buries him alive in a fucking coffin. Here lies Peter Parker. Fucking Crimson storyline. And then he puts on the costume, and he goes out to be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And kill people as Spider-Man and shit like that. And then Peter Parker has to dig himself out of the fucking grave. It's amazing. I mean, years before we saw the bride, Beatrix, dig herself out of the grave in Kill Bill Volume 2. Spider-Man, there he was in the comics, fucking digging himself out of the goddamn grave. And that image reminded me of that, one of my favorite comic books of all time. I don't think they were intentionally trying to evoke it, but right then and there, I was like, this feels more like a comic book that I've read than any of the previous Spider-Man adventures. And I'll even include the Amazing Spider-Man, well, not the Amazing Spider-Man, Raimi's Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved it. I think it's well-told story, and Raimi's a fantastic filmmaker. But this, Homecoming, felt like reading a Spider-Man comic to me.
Yeah.
Reminded me of my childhood.
Because he's never winning in this movie until the very end. Even when he wins, he loses. Even when he succeeds, it's a failure. Even
Charlie Brown of the Marvel Universe.
Absolutely. You know, and to watch this guy strive. Like I said, it's about will. It's about, you know, like Stallone used to say in Rocky, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. It's always forward. It's just trying to get it. It's like he's a striving hero in a way that like Iron Man is not, in a way that Thor is not, in a way that Captain America is not, in his full Captain America form. Like he struggles against like crises of conscience and whatever, but it's never, will Captain America do it? Can Captain America do it? No, we totally get that he can because he's fucking Captain America. But here's a guy who's trying to be a hero and trying so hard to be a hero, and watching that pain and that anguish of him getting so close all the time and not realizing he's succeeding through the effort is what makes it both an awesome like high school comedy that's funny and everything, but it's a tragic story.
Put that on a poster. That
Good
long
luck.
ass fucking quote. It'll cover the whole fucking thing. The fact that it was high school and that we lived in high school. It wasn't like we're in high school for a little period and then fuck high school. We stayed in high school, lived in high school, and it felt more like the high school experience, not necessarily mine, but than I'd seen portrayed in other versions of the movie. Again, maybe because the kids looked like fucking kids.
Yeah.
That helps. There's something to be said for that.
You know, I like some of their recasting of characters, like Flash
Smart idea.
is not...
Bully.
He's not a bully because
Jock guy.
Again,
He is a bully.
He's a bully,
But he's not a jock bully.
But
He's
it's not
math
a
bully.
physical bully because it's like, of course he couldn't beat up Peter Parker. We know that. Like he's already fucking Spider-Man. That's not a threat.
And
anymore.
also, it's like that's, you know, the days of the jock bully. I'm not gonna say it's over, but it's not, being fucking shitty to other people ain't just the domain of athletes anymore.
No.
You know, in the world of the internet, fucking people that normally would be prey upon fucking others. So I liked it. I liked the kind of flip of that.
He's
in
a
terms
bully of privilege.
He wasn't a bit exactly rich kid bully.
Yeah.
Which I guess at the end of the day, like, you know, it's like Reggie, right?
Yeah.
In the Archie world, he's got
I mean,
some money.
There's always that thing of here's a person who has more than everybody and lords it over everyone. You know, and that's a good way to put a spin on Flash.
Speaking of good spin, we called it.
We did. Mary Jane.
Spoilers.
Sorry. See,
Fuck.
from here on out, maybe.
Yeah, good point.
This will be the spoiler section of the review.
Don't watch this part until you've seen
3, 2,
Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah.
As we said when we watched the teaser, tell them what you said.
Years ago. It feels like years ago.
It does.
It might be. Wouldn't it be awesome if this trailer is positing that, like, hey, this pretty girl is actually Mary Jane, but what if it's Zendaya, who we don't even get a name? What if she's Mary Jane? Sort of. She's MJ.
Yeah.
As revealed by the end of the movie. She's Michelle, but her friends call her MJ, and she didn't have any friends before now. But she's a nerd. She's on the sort of intellectual decathlete team.
I don't know who she is, but fuck, Zendaya, is that her name? God damn, she was great. You want to talk about doing a lot with a little?
Yeah.
Because it's like a Susan, Susan, a Susan, Susan, Susan.
Yeah.
But every time she's on screen, like you're like, shut up. And then you lean in. She's
Yeah,
good.
like Disaffected Teen, she does really well.
Insanely well.
You know,
and just
and-
the character itself, you're like, I like that character. The
Yeah.
same way you like Ned. But like Ned is given, they might as well call this movie Ned Homecoming because it's fucking all about Ned, man. And, you know, I wonder if I'm sure Tom Holland was just like, oh my God, I'm happy to be Spider-Man at all. But if I'm like, if I'm Tom Holland, I'm like, hey, again with the Ned scene?
Yeah, can
like,
we just throttle back like 40% on the Nedness of all of this?
Can we 30% more Tony Stark? I think we all agree, and maybe 30% less Ned. But they went for a lot more Ned.
A lot more Ned.
And thank God the kid who plays Ned's up to the task.
Oh, yeah, he's so much fun.
Nice to see a fucking heavy kid, a real looking kid in my estimation. One of my people in a fucking motion picture in a superhero movie too.
And it would be so easy to dislike Ned because Ned in this movie is the guy who's unable to keep Peter's secret. Like, Ned is
That's
the one.
why he's the one we identify
He's
with the
one
most.
because he's so gregariously wonderful in that
But also,
process.
it's like if you knew fucking your friend was Spider-Man, you may not tell the press, but you know,
Yeah.
your wife, or your fucking girlfriend, your boyfriend, some fucking, you know, people you're playing hockey with. Like, eventually you would be like,
Like, he's going to get you in
I
trouble.
know who that is.
He's going to get you in trouble, but you don't hate him for getting you in trouble.
Right.
Like, him's like, oh, no, Peter knows Spider-Man. It's like, well, that right there.
And right out of a script written by fucking Screenwriters 101, he gets a heroic moment in the third act.
He absolutely
does. There's a bit of, and this is not a criticism, this is just an observation. Because let me preface everything I'm going to say with, I can't do this shit. I never can make a movie as wonderful as what I saw last night, Spider-Man Homecoming. That being said, it's a lot of preamble, and I forgot what I was heading toward.
Screenwriter 101.
Yes, to give a moment of use beyond I'm your buddy,
Right.
to the character. You know, arc they call it sometimes. Spoilers for Ned to be able to use the web shooter at the proper moment is both. You know, fucking, hey man, that came out of the playbook of 96 movies that made $100 million or more, and kind of paint by number. Like it's nobody's fucking breaking tradition doing that. That being said, this movie is so well crafted, so fucking charming. It is such a charm factory, and you're having such a good time that even when that happens, and that's not a big complaint, but even when there are moments that exist in the world of like it's a movie, there better be this, this, and this, or else people are going to be dissatisfied. You never feel like, fuck, they derailed. Like, he's got to fight the Vulture in the third act.
Gonna happen. Probably also gonna have to fight the Shocker to get to the Vulture. Gonna happen.
And the problem, too, is like, they give you such an amazing scene, maybe a half an hour, 20 minutes before that, not even 10, 15 minutes before that, between, you know, that's really the best Spider-Man versus the Vulture scene in the movie, and it's not physical at all. And you're not moving a camera, there's no special effects. It comes down to great writing, great staging, great surprise. It's something they've kept under wraps, kept webbed up, and you going in, I don't think anybody realizes it's about to happen. There's a great, I'm not even calling it an M. Night twist. It's just a great, it's almost a great, give it time, see how it ages, but you could put it up there with like I Am Your Father to some degree. It's just they haven't earned, like, they haven't had a Star Wars prior to this, but they have had 5 other Spider-Man movies. But it's a turn that's big.
It's a great twist. It's a big twist, and it is also a screenwriting 101 twist of, like, and again, spoilers, Peter Parker has been angling towards this girl named Liz in his high school, super big crush, whatever. Finally,
Liz Allen, who a lot of us who grew up with Spider-Man, you know, they were like, oh, and this girl will be playing Liz Allen. You're like, oh, Liz Allen, right? Oh, I fucking know she's Ned Leeds and Liz Allen are Peter Parker's friends in high school.
Yeah. So, like, he finally works up the moxie to ask her to the homecoming dance. She says yes. He goes to her house to pick her up. She is a young woman of color. He shows up at her house. Who answers the door but the Vulture? Because the Vulture is her dad. Because, of course, it's her dad.
Great scene.
It's
that's a great moment. The door opens. I was in a packed theater. Did your theater react the same way as mine?
They were like, oh, shit.
A literal vocal utterance from nearly everybody in the theater. Somebody had spoiled it for me ahead of time, but I didn't care. I wasn't mad. Because when they told me, I was like, oh, my God, that's fucking brilliant. million.
Yeah.
So I'm surrounded by 300 people who went, oh, and kept chattering for the next minute about
Missed half
that's
the
fucking
scene.
cool. I didn't think of that. And then when they introduce like his wife, her mom comes
Yeah.
out, and then people are like, oh,
It's like, we talked about it just before we rolled. It's diversity as subversity. Like,
put that on a fucking t-shirt. Put that on the poster. That one's even shorter to say.
I mean,
fucking
like,
rhymes.
you don't think it possible because your brain doesn't go there. Your brain won't connect those dots. Except, of course, it's possible. Like, why couldn't a white dude be married to a black lady and have a black kid or a mixed race kid who then goes to high school?
And also, it's a movie, so you better be sure that everyone's related in one way or another.
Like, again, it's like
sooner or
Skinner
later,
in 101.
all roads lead to Peter Parker.
Absolutely. And so then you get this amazing scene when the audience is surprised, your character is surprised. You then put all three of them in a car, the girl Peter likes, Peter, and then the Vulture are driving to the high school. And the Vulture doesn't know that Peter is Spider-Man.
Peter knows the Vulture is the Vulture.
Yeah, because he doesn't really have a mask. He's got little like visionocular things or whatever, but he knows who he is.
So
He's
for
seen
the
his
first
face.
for the first 20% of that sequence, because it starts in the house, moves in the car, and it's a fantastic sequence, worth the price of admission for alone. And all the movie is fucking a fun ride, man. It's like going to a theme park and riding a great roller coaster and shit like that. But this is exquisite. This is like they don't even stop the roller coaster. In the middle of the roller coaster, somebody gives you the most fucking exquisite oral pleasure you've ever had in your life. Man or woman, don't matter. It's like, oh, I didn't know this was going to happen too. It was already good enough. This is just icing on the cake. All of a sudden, like for the first 15, 20% of the scene, Peter knows and Toombs doesn't.
Right.
Then
Liz starts like saying, oh yeah, Peter's friends with Spider-Man. And Peter was like, he was also with me in Washington, D.C. He's like, Peter, were you upset to be in that elevator? I actually didn't make it in the elevator, but good things. And
so
you
he
see,
starts piecing it together.
in the process of this car ride, you see him put together that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
We're with Peter Parker at the beginning of the scene because we're like we're shocked as fuck that this is happening. But Toombs doesn't start putting it together until a good percentage into the sequence, and it's fun watching that happen. And then
Just watching the tenor of that scene change and watch the tone of the voice change.
And for Liz, it's he's like, I want to talk to you. I want to have a dad conversation with your friend, and the whole audience is like, oh, because it's a wonderful piece of storytelling. They're like, oh yeah, they're gonna have a dad conversation, all right. Just his dad happens to be the fucking Vulture. Her dad's the Vulture.
Yeah, like everybody in that car has a different movie they're playing in, and watching that movie collide in the car is kind of amazing to see.
And right before the titular homecoming in question, although we know it refers to a bunch of things, but there is a homecoming dance in the third act of this thing, and they, it's a tease. It's Peter Parker's true story because all the fun is happening, and he gets to run through it and disappoint somebody in an effort to go save the day.
Yeah.
And the day saving is not about like, there's a ring of garbage in the sky and we're all fucking doomed. It's very localized. That's what I loved about the movie. And they play with it's in the trailer and stuff where he's like, why can't you just be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? Stuff like that. I mean, they even include like the written note at the end.
Yeah.
Fucking, shit like that's wonderful. But it's very... It's not flat. Remember like the Sam Raimi movies where, Green Goblin all of a sudden gets hit by a rock and they're like, you mess with Spider-Man, you mess with all of New York. And you're like, all right, I get it. This is right after September 11th and we're all very like, put a flag in this fucking thing and stuff. But it didn't feel authentic. This felt very authentic. It felt very much like this is the hero of Queens.
And not even like all of Queens.
No, it's just a couple blocks.
The Queens he could get to on mass transit or swing to if he's lucky.
They do a great bit with him in the suburbs.
Yeah.
Of not being able to swing anywhere.
Running across a golf course. I got no trees.
Because he blasts his web into the air, but there's nothing to grab onto.
How did you feel about the sort of Iron Manization of the Spidey suit?
I'm okay with that, but unless I missed it, a lot of the shit I was sold in the trailer wasn't there. I never once heard the suit say, like, you have 149 web shooting options.
That's in there.
Is it?
Yeah, when he's trying to sneak up on the Shocker as they're waiting for those vans to drop, and he's like, I got taser webs? He's like, yes, there are 243 different options for...
I saw in the end credits that was Jennifer Connelly.
I
though.
know.
I thought that was kind of sweet.
Which is adorable because she's married to Paul Bettany.
Oh, I see. I was putting her in the Marvel universe by way of she was once the bride of David Banner, Bruce Banner. She was Betty Banner at one point.
But Paul Bettany was the voice of Iron Man's suit. Now Jennifer Connelly's the voice of Spider-Man's suit.
That's fucking cute.
Isn't that adorable?
Oh my God, are they marketing that? Is anybody writing about that?
I don't.
That's like one of those Kennedy and Lincoln were assassinated on opposite days.
On President's Day. What?
Wow, that's really sweet, man. I like that. I'm okay with the Iron Manization of the suit. It gave us somewhere to go. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't going to want to watch that homemade suit the whole fucking movie. The hoodie suit. At a certain point, you're like, ooh.
Yeah, come on.
But so I liked, and I like, he's part of the Marvel universe, and Iron Man is the Batman / fucking tech genius of that universe. Why not? Give him we've already seen the upgrade in Civil War. So, the only new information was, it's got an onboard.
Right.
Which
And
I
also-
liked. It allowed him to, here, think about it. You're a comic book reader. For years, whenever Spider-Man's by himself, he has these, boop, 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 soliloquies or internal monologues and stuff like that. You can't really do that in a movie. It looks goofy. You can have him, expositing information by way of talking to his suit. And then also you get the comedic beats of the suit being like, talk to her, Peter.
Oh, she's pretty.
Yeah. It was really fucking good. Why? Are people against that?
No. I mean,
Why? Are people fucking down against it?
It's just the finding ways for Peter to still be Peter, for Spider-Man to be the Spider-Man we want him to be, and how much
They shrink their own hallway.
Yeah.
Like by adding, tech to the suit, it does kind of take away from the scientific brilliance of Peter Parker himself.
Except that you still get some of that. Like you get the bit where he's trapped in damage control, which again, I love the fact that damage control is in this movie. And I loved seeing Dwayne McDuffie's name in that final scroll at the end.
That's kind of sweet.
I was like, oh, that's good.
I bought damage control off the rack. First 4 issues when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's good shit. But when he's trapped in that giant fucking bunker and he's got I got to science my way out of this. Like this is 243rd combination of things to get us out of this giant. All right, awesome, Spidey. Good job,
in school,
Peter.
we saw him developing a web fluid as well. Which again, that's another thing. This is a movie that posits that it's not organic web shooters.
Right.
So right then and there,
it's all tech.
And even if Tony builds a better version of the suit, Peter developed the technology.
Right.
So I'm okay with that. I didn't bump into that at all.
Yeah. And then when presented with the 247 options, just give me webs. I don't want grenades, surprise, ricochet webs. I just fucking want webs.
I like the idea of like, look at all the tricks, and he gets comfortable. I mean, that felt like a trope. Like this suit's tricked out, and then we're taking a suit away, you little prick, and then he's got to do it without it. And then there's the wonderful shot of him looking in the reflection of the half Spider-Man mask, half Peter Parker. Beautiful visual storytelling and stuff before he has to, Peter Parker up and become the Spider-Man at the same time.
One of my favorite little tiny beats was Donald Glover.
He's gone. I got a nephew who lives in this neighborhood.
Yes.
You know who that is.
Miles Morales.
That's the first reference. And here's what I whimsied last night when I was going home. I got no inside information. Hey, if you fuck with Spider-Man, you fuck with all of us.
I got no information on your fucking guy.
I got no inside info. Here's just something I was whimsying about on the ride home. We know we're heading into Avengers Infinity War.
Yes.
Imagine if, and again, this ain't predicated on nothing, but imagine if in the end of it, because all those contracts are getting big for the stars of the Marvel Universe. And they've been saying after the Avengers Infinity War, we're in a completely different phase of the Marvel Universe and things will fucking change indefinitely or permanently. So what they're communicating, as far as I understand, is like, get ready. As they go battle Thanos, get ready to fucking lose some big guns.
Yeah.
So imagine this. Some world where you've got Tony Stark gets killed in Infinity War. Who could take over the suit? The kid he's been mentoring.
Ooh.
Peter Parker, who's already got a suit that talks to him and shit. So then who takes over the Spider-Man suit? Prowler's kid. And they called him the Prowler. At one point they were looking up his record. It said Prowler. His nephew. And suddenly you could see it working. I don't know if that's the way. And that's just armchair writing. They'll do a better version, I'm sure.
But I mean, once you establish that Miles Morales exists in the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
It means he's going to get a suit one day.
it means that at some point, and you know what? We saw the fucking suit. At the end of this movie, when he doesn't.
That's it. That's what it was.
Yeah, that will be Miles Morales' suit when he shows up.
And it kind of looked like the suit
It
that
did.
Miles has.
And you didn't want Peter in that suit. You're like, Peter, that's not your suit.
I know. It was a great walk-away moment when he was just like, that's not for me. And then I thought, all right, maybe they'll give it to him in space. Space! When he goes and fights in the Infinity War, because he'll need cosmic armor and stuff.
Yeah.
Remember that Spidey goes cosmic, or remember this armored Spidey at one point? Like they could give him that armor in space and shit. So I love that too. We know next time we see Spider-Man, it's going to be up in space fighting with fucking the Avengers against Thanos and shit. It's nice to see this very localized, insanely localized high school, and then the surrounding area of Queens, maybe a trip to Maryland, Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
School trip, which makes sense. Nice to see him working on the small level, because most of those Marvel movies are on the grandiose level.
Yeah, like not every movie needs to be about saving the world. They need to be about saving your world.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it work.
It's a charm factor of this whole fucking movie. I don't need to compare and contrast where it is with other Spider-Man movies, but it is my favorite.
I don't need to do it, but I will.
I don't need to, but I think it earns this. It's hands down the Spider-Man movie I will watch more than once. I think I've seen every one of those Spider-Man movies once. Never necessarily felt the need to go back for them and stuff. Not because they were bad, just like, man, I get it. That's a Spider-Man. This felt like my Spider-Man. This reminded me of the Spider-Man comics I first read when I was a kid. I was there for the whole fucking ride. I thought it was ingenious. I saw some article online where somebody was like, this is the rebirth of comic book movies because this is the first time that somebody took a different genre and married it together with a comic book movie. So it's a high school movie and a superhero movie. Sky High did that about fucking decade
and also,
or 15
have you seen
ago.
all of the Marvel movies where one of them is about magic, one of them is space, one of them is a heist, one of them is a conspiracy
Fucking
thriller?
look at Logan. Logan
Yeah.
was not a traditional comic book movie.
It's
by
a
any stretch of
fucking
the imagination.
Western.
It's married to a fucking Western or a film noir at the same time. So
Yeah.
I think it's great that, somebody got around to going, oh, you know who used to like comic books? Kids. Let's make a movie for the kids. Instead of thinking about us first going, well, what's going to keep these two quiet? Or people of their age. They're like, let's make something for kids. This movie's going to make a gazillion bucks. It's no hot take. But it has everything to do with the fact that, kids are going to come out and see it.
And kids will go see it more than once.
Bang.
Like,
Bang.
I will see it twice because I was always going to see it twice.
Whip.
But if you get a fucking 16-year-old kid to go to a movie 3 times over the course of the summer because it's too fucking hot out and I want to go inside and see something,
That's how you make that Titanic money.
that's how you make that sweet fucking Titanic money.
That's how they made the Titanic money. It wasn't just 14-year-old girls were like, oh, I saw it once. They saw it 10 times.
And it wasn't that I love the boat going down. It was, I love these two people. They're adorable.
And in this movie, it's like, I want to see them fall in love. And in Spider-Man, you just want to watch Peter and Ned fall in love all over again. And Peter and his crush, Tony Stark. Hats off to Robert Downey Jr. as usual. I will watch Robert Downey. Robert Downey Jr. could read my death warrant to me, and I'd be like,
all right. Did you make that up on the spot? How
brilliant
much of that,
as usual.
Like,
How much of that was ad-libbed?
Yeah, I didn't commit most of those crimes, but boy, you sold it.
My God, you're so good. I'll watch him do anything. I think he's a welcome addition to this movie. I hope he's always Peter's mentor.
I'm glad that he didn't overshadow the movie. Like
No,
I
not
was
at all.
afraid by the trailers that it was a lot of fucking Iron Man, and that shot that we saw at the end of the trailer, the two of them streaking into the
happened.
city, never in the movie. Like that was clearly we got to get people on board. So look, they're flying together. It's the super team up.
It's true. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, no, didn't do that.
Interesting.
But he's only in 3 real scenes in this movie. And they're all good scenes.
Yes.
But he's not in any way like Iron Man plus Spidey fight crime.
He's used absolutely well. Favreau gets to come back, and
Favs get some love.
Favs is like, thank God I cast myself as Happy all those years ago. He gets to come
The
and
gift
play.
that keeps on paying off my house.
Nice to see continuity there. There's spoilers. Gwyneth shows back up.
And
so
Pepper Potts gets a little love.
it feels like an ad hoc sequel to Iron Man 3 as well.
A little bit,
In many
yeah.
ways. It's kind of backdoor, if you will. And with
Yeah.
Gwyneth, there's always a backdoor.
Goop.
Put a jade egg up your ass. I think that's how it works. In any event, nice to see her on board. Nice to see Scorpion
Yeah,
in the PS credits. I
tease
mean,
with
boy,
Scorpion.
I think it was the Scorpion. He had one on his neck.
Did he though? I wasn't sure if that was a scorpion. Was it a
I
scorpion?
didn't give a fuck. I still jizzed when I saw it. I was like, oh my God. But honestly, I had to explain it to Jason Mewes. And I'm like, that didn't tip you off? He goes, I saw that Scorpion. So that was kind of nice. Would have been nicer if he was in costume, but whatever.
We'll get there. We'll get there with everybody. I want to see the prehensile tail. Like, build me that thing.
Chris Captain America?
Evans, yeah.
Chris Evans, like, proving once again that he's adorably hysterical and charming as well, does a series of pop-ups and promotional high school videos. But the funniest one was Hannibal Buress going, I think he's a war criminal now.
But whatever.
That's so awesome.
Thanks. He's standing on the wrong side of the TV.
Yeah, he goes, your gym teacher. And he was standing over
That's Captain America telling you all to do push-ups. I think he's a war criminal now, but whatever. Get after it.
A war criminal. And it was timely. I was like, I wonder if he wrote that joke. That's hysterical. But it fits in the Marvel continuity. But... and again, Tom Holland, amazing. But the guy who deserves the, give him the fucking award, give him the wreath, the plaudits, give him the fucking, he's the MVP, is when Batman and Birdman came to be an actual Birdman. Michael Keaton ain't cashing a check.
No.
And for the first time, somebody constructed a Marvel villain where you're like, I like this villain.
I get it.
Everything makes sense. And you remember everything about him and not like, what's his name? What did he want? Why has he got that big hammer? Like, I love Guardians of the Galaxy, but I can't. I was like, well, Ronan the Accuser. Was his beef? What does he want?
Who's he accusing?
Yeah. Why? And it seems less accusing and more killy.
What's in the hammer?
Adrian Toomes, Vulture, they start the movie with his backstory. So you have no problem understanding like what his motivations are. And
they're super simple.
And oddly altruistic.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking out for my family.
Yes, my family, the guys I work with, my family at home, so I can afford this ridiculous house in the suburbs and this Jaguar that I drive. All I want to do is protect my people. And by doing, in service of that, I will rob and I will steal and I will sell weapons on the street and I will do any number of bad things. But I'm just doing it.
It takes a life, too.
He takes a life. He kills a dude.
They play it like he might not have known it. And they take the life of a guy who it's like, well, fuck him, he's a piece of shit.
Should have died anyway, but
I thought that was an interesting choice. And I was like, I wonder if that was him going, can I soften this? I don't want to seem like murderous and blah, 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 because where do I go after that? But, he does take a dude out, and then he's like, I thought that was the anti-gravity gun.
Yeah.
So you get your cake and eat it, too, and stuff. And it also adds one more feather to the Vulture's coat. Thank you.
Nice.
But again, hats off to the fucking outfit, too. But it's not the outfit that makes the performance. And it's not like when, Homeboy was Green Goblin.
Defoe.
Oh, and they took this amazing actor and put a fucking mask on his face. You couldn't, see or hear any of that glorious performance. Most of the Vulture's best stuff is out of the mask.
And all he does is he wears a flight suit. Like, that's all. He's got a flight helmet on and he's got a bomber jacket.
Expertly designed.
And that's it. And he looks like the Vulture and you buy every minute of it.
And his strongest work is out of the suit.
Yeah.
And when I say that is not to put down the other work. All the other work is, as the Vulture is great and stuff, and all his other scenes are really great. But that fucking sequence of are you who I think you are? Discovering is fantastic. It'll be one of your favorite sequences in a comic book movie of all time, and that's saying something because generally we like the things that are big and bombastic. When you ask people, what was one of your favorite Marvel sequences of all time? The airport scene and Civil War and stuff like that. This is going to make that top 5 without effects. Like literally doing something you could have done with your friends if you had access to 3 very talented actors and a great script.
Yeah. And again, Marvel is also really good at that. They will give you the giant candy, but they will also punch you in the fucking gut in the same way in Civil War. By the end of that movie, the best scene in that movie is when Tony Stark realizes that Winter Soldier killed his mom.
Yeah. God, you're right.
And that's the bit where it's, oh my God. And you just watch the dawning realization that Cap's best friend killed his other best friend's mom and that there is no actually getting between them. There's going to be no peace between them. We're going to have to punch each other till somebody stays down. And that moment, it's like, but he killed my mom.
It's their Klingon bastard killed my son moment.
Yeah, where it's, I'm abandoning all reason because this is just all emotion and just it's time to punch things.
He thankfully, spoilers, you're way spoiled, but thankfully they didn't fucking kill him. They're starting to learn in these pictures.
We got a good one.
Why do we keep killing off all our bad guys? Yeah. We can bring them back, especially in Spider-Man universe, because he can beat 6 of them, then they can team up, and we'd all be happy because it'd be the Sinister Six.
And they give a really nice reason at the end of it why he doesn't reveal that he knows who Peter Parker is, because Peter Parker saved his life and saved his kid's life. And Peter Parker's done more for this family, ultimately, than he did.
Right.
And so he feels some debt. It's like, no, if I knew who Peter Parker was, I'd have killed him already.
At least for now.
Yeah, Spider-Man. Sorry.
Or maybe he's like, I'll build my own plan. But maybe he's the guy that, fucking recruits the Sinister Six.
Yeah.
Look, I ain't gonna write. They're doing a good job without me. They don't need our help. Fuck. What a good time this is at the movies. This movie, just like Guardians of the Galaxy, is one of those flicks where you're like, take my money. I'll see this again, and I'll see it again in the theater.
Yes. No, for sure.
I enjoyed the fuck out of this, man. Hats off to, what's his name, John Watts?
Yes.
This kid, he's got the world by the balls. Such talent on this kid. It's unfucking fair. It's a good movie. I saw some people came down on him. They're like, well, the fucking action sequences aren't staged very. Are you fucking high? I couldn't do that. And I guarantee you, anybody who wrote that his fucking action sequences weren't staged as well as could be, couldn't do it either. Like, I looked at what he did. I was like, that's impressive. This is all great. Never once was like, I feel they skimped out. If only a better director. No way, man. I think that movie has a voice to it. And there's often a complaint from people going like, well, Marvel stifles the individual voice and there's just a Marvel voice and stuff. But that's a flavor. I saw Cop Car. That's a flavor to his work that he got to carry over.
He's playing within the lines.
Yes. But doing his thing and bringing something to it, a little bit signature to it. There's love in this movie for the history of these books as well. And you get Shocker, and you get the Tinkerer, and you get, what we said, Vulture.
Yeah.
And you get Prowler.
Aaron Davis, and then a little nod to Miles Morales.
And you get a little touch of the future as well.
You get a little Betty Brant. Did you see at the end there?
No.
She's they have this very tail end of the movie where the two high school journalists are on camera.
Yeah.
And the girl is Betty Brant as her Chiron.
Oh, is that what it said? Really?
Yeah. And Spider-Man once again saved blah blah blah. I've been Betty Brant for High School Weekly.
That's fucking cool, man. I didn't notice that.
like,
That's cool. The dude next to her, I saw him in Brigsby Bear. He's got a much bigger role in that. That movie's amazing. Okay, Spider-Man: Homecoming. It is. Would you say, based on the trailers, as good as you thought it would be, better than you thought it would be, not as good as you thought it would be?
Better than I thought it would be.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was exactly as good as I thought it would be based on the trailers. I thought they did a great sell of that. And I'll be honest with you, I've devoured every fucking clip online, so I've seen a lot of this movie. I went in, I was like, I saw this. The only thing they didn't show anything of, other than him going, I'll kill you and your whole family, is that whole car sequence.
I mean, there's the depth in the center of this movie is a thing you couldn't convey in the trailers, and that's what surprised me the most out of it. So, like, I went in expecting a good time. I did not expect it to land as hard as it did towards the back half.
So good. So damn good. Hats off.
Indeed.
I can't swallow any more web fluid. I think I've polished the knob enough. Some people are like, you're going to fucking get paid by these people. No. Honestly, I just love the movie. It's great. Hey, man, when somebody does something that you fucking like, I know it's the training of the internet to grouse about everything, but how about flipping the microscope? When somebody does something you like, suck the fucking dick or lick the clit of it so you get more of that. Otherwise, you get some of the old shit. You don't want that anymore.
No.
We got to go forward now. Not going backwards, man. No more Spider old man. Spider-Man boy.
Nice.
That's filthy.
Brought to you
Spider-Man
by
Boy Love Association.
Brought to you by Nambla.
Spambla. Spider-Man: Homecoming, man.
Yeah.
Thwip. 3 fingers up.
Wow, I was gonna go 4 whips up.
That's not bad, but 3 fingers means you are thwipping, and if you are thwipping, that is code for.
You can't do that anymore because Gene Simmons is trademarking
this part or this one.
He's doing the all of them.
Spider-Man had it first.
Yeah, well, even Doctor Strange had it before. Everybody had
Doctor
it.
Strange did this before Spider-Man?
Well, he did the fucking Hiya Vagamoto!
Yeah,
So sorry, Gene, but we're thwipping.
Yeah, we're thwipping, y'all. We're thwipping. Go out and thwip yourself into a movie theater and check out Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Do it.
Fuck, it's good.
Do it.
For Fat Man on Spider-Man, I've been Kevin Smith.
And I've been Marc Bernardin.
Come back next time. We'll talk about some more shit. Same fat time, same fat channel, smodcast.com or
YouTube.com/Kevin Smith. Go Webs.